and we are in London, and it's the home of the biggest and best tournament in the world, which is Wimbledon. And I have a Roy of the Rovers story sat right next to me in Freddie Nielsen, and it's still, honestly, and I'm not saying this just because he's next to me, it's my favourite ever tennis story. And Freddie and Jonny Marray, who his partner was, I can tell you exactly where I was for every match, for every point, exactly what I felt. And I've said this to Freddie, I don't believe there's a person in the tennis world that wasn't happy for him and Jonny Marray as they came together as wildcards. And wildcards means you're not in the tournament on your ranking. They got their wild card. 14, 15 days later, they were stood as Wimbledon champions. Freddie Nielsen.
Well, thanks. What I hear... There's two sides to that story. There's that we won, and then the other story was pretty much, in so many words, that we were shit. That's why people were appreciating it, So there's a two, but I understand what you mean, of course. So,
a lucky 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, but it was a fantastic time for me. Obviously, it's something I'll never forget. When I look back at it, it really is in three parts, because first was the wild card, and I was there preparing to find a partner for qualies. That didn't happen, so I could go to Eastbourne, lose in qualies on the first day, and then I had a whole week. So there was just a whole week of preparation, of elation that I basically got. I remember thinking very vividly that the reason why I play tennis is to get the chance to play Wimbledon, and I've achieved it. So I really was thinking that now I get the chance, so whatever happens in my tennis life now, it doesn't matter because I've got the chance to play. And then there was obviously the playing the tournament element, which was pretty fun. And it's funny, it rained a lot during Wimbledon, but when I think back, somehow the sun is shining, so it must mean that I remember the good things. And then there was the buzz that I've never had since or before, is to get in and prepare and play in one of the biggest sporting events in the world. Maybe not doubles, but the Wimbledon final is an incredible sporting event, and I felt that that's the one time where I was part of something bigger than just in tennis, or something that really transcends tennis and goes to sport. So it was really a privilege to be part of.
And I talk about, Freddie, as a coach, we do that. We visualize with our players, and we put them in situations, and we say, you're now serving for the Wimbledon final. We talk about the routines, and we talk about trying to prepare them for that mindset and that pressure, because tennis is a chaotic sport that brings a lot of pressure. There's no greater pressure than serving for Wimbledon. I don't care what the event is at Wimbledon. It's Wimbledon, and you're in the final. You're in a 5-set match. Jonny's serving. You guys are walking out as a team. Tell me about that moment.
Well, there was just the accumulation of a lot of tennis and experiences, because I don't think it's possible to recreate the vibe that we had during those 2 weeks. It really started already a few weeks before that in the Challenger we played in Nottingham. And then things happened throughout the week. We didn't take ourselves too seriously. We knew that we could win a few matches because we were decent players on the grass. Obviously didn't think we were going to play for the finals and whatnot. And by the time we got to serving for luckily it wasn't me. We probably would have lost. It was me, but it was Jonny, so that was much better. The whole 2 weeks just accumulated to one moment, and I was actually really aware of that, mostly because a few games before we held to 4-1 in the third, and I think I hit the luckiest shot, and I was really just like, it doesn't matter what we do, because if I hold my racket in the hand, the ball is going to find its way to win. So it's a good feeling. It is a great feeling, and
apparently,
so yeah, we were exactly. So we were pretty relaxed and happy, and just kept going with the same way. And we played the semi-final against the Bryans on court 12, which is not, one of the bigger courts for a semi-final per se, but it's still a nice court, and it has a very nice view over center court. And we were sitting during the semi-final playing the Bryans, just loving life. And at one changeover, we were saying, this is a nice tennis club. I mean, this is really, really, I mean, how nice is this club? And I don't know if you guys remember the old Carlsberg commercials, if Carlsberg did whatever, and Jonny just looked at me and said, yeah, if Carlsberg did tennis clubs.
Wow.
And it kind of became a little bit of a motto from that on. So when Jonny was serving for the title, for the championship, and at 5-3 in the fifth, I just went to him and said, if Carlsberg did moments to live for, because it was just, that was pretty much a summary of how we felt. It was just, yeah, it was a really glorious moment. Every changeover we stepped up, we got goosebumps. Obviously helped playing with a Brit, and I think that was so the frame of mind we got into was really hard to recreate afterwards. But at that moment, it was really good, and Jonny did a really good job of doing a Carlsberg moment. Danish.
If
It's
Carlsberg
Danish.
did 2 weeks.
Exactly. If they did 2 weeks, there would be those weeks.
As a Dane, you should have said about that earlier. You
I
probably
know.
would have ended up with a Carlsberg deal.
Why
If
were you?
anybody's listening-
Where were you around at that time?
If anybody's listening, again, I want 50% control the controllables along with your
And don't
cards.
forget the top trumps.
But actually, you were dealing with selling.
Yeah,
stuff during the Wimbledon, right?
so when you made the final, the Sun wanted to put a patch on him, and Jonny is from Sheffield.
On his shirt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The Sun newspaper. So Johnny's from Sheffield. He's a Liverpool fan. He said no, and rightly so. Very principled. But the Sun didn't like hearing no, so they kept coming back, and the number got very, very high. And I have to say that major respect to Jonny, because he stuck with it and said no.
And very privileged to play with a great guy like that, and also made it much more enjoyable to share that story, that victory with a great guy like Jonny. And this is a guy who played in that Wimbledon in Ken Skopsky's shoes and Kyle Edmund's shirt. And the one time I saw him in like the same brand from top to bottom a few years before, I asked him, Jonny, have you got a clothing deal? What's happening here? And he goes, yeah, I have a great deal. I can walk into any store around the world and purchase whatever I want. So that's just the kind of guy, and shows what a guy he is.